What day is it?
Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's Saturday.
420, baby.
Oh man, that's appropriate.
Smoke.
It's the funny number.
Well, it's Mother 3's birthday, and we're about to watch a.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mother 3 came out today, 18 years ago.
18. That's low.
2006.
18 years.
That's not right.
Yeah.
No.
Mother 3 came out when we were like in high school or college. Don't make
Bring Lucas to America.
It came out when we were in high school. Came out in 2006.
Well,
So that was like 10 years ago.
When did the
If that.
Tomato Patch come out?
2008.
Okay, so Mother 3 came out in 2008. Wait, that's so.
It's not how it works. Anyway, it's Saturday. A few folks got up real early this morning. Y'all have some photos of the walk, right? Do you want to like briefly explain what was going on?
Yeah, so some of you saw a fursuit in a recent blog. That's mine.
Yeah. This is like so well known amongst us that I realized that we've never actually shown Jeff's fursuit. Jeff has a fursuit.
There's been times where it's been adjacent to the vlog camera, but 5 years ago or so, a member of the community who was like a major bon vivant, like athlete, et cetera, was diagnosed with ALS, which is a neurodegenerative disease with no cure, and it steals your life from you basically. And he passed away 5 years ago-ish, but people across the country have kept his memory alive by doing ALS walks, and there was an ALS walk in Raleigh this morning. So Mal, Brandon, and I went downtown and I walked 2 miles in suit.
It wasn't the hottest day it's been, but it was.
It was so humid.
It wasn't.
Wet heat.
It wasn't cold.
It was.
And it's very wet inside of the polyester,
Yes.
I assume.
Yeah.
I was probably the sweatiest I've ever been. It was probably the most grueling thing I've ever done in suit. And so we survived. I had to stop like a mile and a quarter through it to drink 32 ounces of water. And after we were done, I drank like 40 ounces of Gatorade, but you know, we got through. And people were really curious about what the story was, what the deal was of the person we were walking to honor, and just it was a really nice experience. So I again thank you, Brandon and Mal, for.
You're welcome. I had a great time.
Happy to do it.
And then a fairly large portion of us went to a Lebanese festival in the afternoon, and that was fun. There was a lot of like performances and food. I did film it, but I didn't have any context. So now there's context.
It was pretty loud, so it wasn't really like a place to sit there and discuss what was happening.
The other thing is that whenever people are doing their performances, I'm just sitting there like thinking, is this in Content ID? I think about that nonstop all the time. It's awful. Anyway, last year, after working on it for a decade, this documentary came out. This is EarthBound USA, produced by Jazzy Benson. This was part of a Kickstarter that Fangamer put on a decade ago. And we have been trying to get everyone together to watch it for 5 months. And today we have everybody here. It's like Smash Ultimate.
Is the PS5 menu music and Content ID?
It better not be. All right, let's watch this thing, which I think it's about Reed. I think the entire movie is about Reed. I can't wait.
Okay.
That was great. I really enjoyed that, but I also know that this movie was made for me, like explicitly.
Explicitly for you.
Well, I mean, like, Chaz, you know the feeling. Like watching this movie is wild because it's like, wow, this is a movie about my life.
Yeah, this is our childhoods.
Yeah, and it's the first thing I will say. It's astoundingly well done.
Yes.
In my opinion, it's like it's coherent.
Like all of the like retro like footage that they like recreated
Yeah.
is really neat.
Yeah, all of the B-roll stuff is impressive,
Yes.
and there's a ton of it, and I think it makes
It makes the narrative in a way that talking head interviews would not.
Yeah.
yeah.
I liked the telephone line motif where they're talking about like the early days of the internet and people like they're talking about these social connections that are being made, and they keep when they cut from like one part of the country to another to talk to different people, they like pan
Pan up to
telephone wires and then cut to telephone wires at somebody else's house. And it's like a very subtle thing that conveys what that time was like.
I just couldn't believe they went back in time and took Clyde, young Clyde from the past, to bring him to the future. I was shocked.
They never show like present day Clyde in the film, but they show a lot of images. But like the guy looks just like Clyde. It's wild. Josh, what did you think? Because you're the most recent convert.
I definitely felt like there was moments where like the entire room would, all of you guys would erupt into laughter, and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't resonate with me. Like I'm missing a subtle piece of context from that time. But like it was really well done.
Yeah.
It was really well done. I do love how they spoiled Mother 3 for me. That was cool.
Most of that's like chapter 1.
It's
Still chapter 1.
Yeah, it's
Like any of the gameplay, I like uncomfortably had to like look at y'all.
I would say that's all chapter 1.
I pulled out my phone and
mostly
just
chapter
stopped listening.
I mean, I assumed that.
said was like fair games for a trailer if a trailer was made for the game.
Yeah. It's fine. They did like show stuff I didn't expect them to show, but I guess it's fine. It is not a huge deal, but yeah, there's some Mother 3 stuff in there.
I feel like when we all started laughing, we were mostly laughing at ourselves, I think, and the memory of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I remember doing PK call-in. Like, to be fair, I was not one of the annoying people. I mean, I was calling and being polite. But, like, I remember the excitement of everyone's like, this is our last ditch effort, and, like, I remember all that, and just, like, the attitude of, like, no, was just very funny because you're just laughing at the past.
When they were talking about the Mother 3 petition and like how people probably just like stood outside of the Safeway and got signatures, I distinctly remember printing out the signature form and taking it to my middle school and getting people who had no idea what they were signing to sign it so that I could send it in and get the Mother 3 signature forum badge.
all it wants is to have that amount of energy.
So
now.
someone take that badge away from me, please. I don't deserve it.
So interesting thing about the the petition is that I printed out the petition, did it whenever it came out, and then it was a few years ago. I found the petition and the signatures. I had never
friends' parents.
I had never sent it in.
Wow,
So I did what made the most sense. I mailed it to Reed. And I don't know how many years ago this was. I don't even know if I ever asked him about that. But I mailed it to him because I was like, this is where this goes. Sorry, I'm 15 years late.
I don't think that one made it.
No.
No, I don't think so. I think you missed the boat.
Could have made the difference if that had
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, 31,210. Oh my God. We have to release it now.
Yeah, a lot of it is us looking back as adults who know, not that only some of us have worked in the games industry, but those of us who, but now that we're adults and we understand capitalism and we understand, because the thing is, like, why games got released was a giant mystery back then. We didn't know anything. Like, we knew nothing about how the industry worked, period. And so, like, looking back at it now, you're like, what were we thinking? But, like, again, we were running on no information. Like, there were not, like, articles about the interior workings. The entire game industry was so hush-hush about, like, literally everything that we just didn't. We were just a bunch of people with way too much energy, and I wish I had that energy now.
Also we were children.
Yeah.
So
well, what a case study in how the games industry works, right? Like, and an unusual one at that, but yeah, like this really demonstrated through your childhood that, like, if it's not popular or impractical, it's not going to exist.
It was a great business lesson, and then also we got to learn just do it yourself.
It was interesting because, like, there's so many things that, like, I know that I've known for a long time, but it was interesting to put them together, like, all at once. Like, the day that Reed and all of them went to Nintendo, we were in Seattle. And I remember that day of like, they're going to Nintendo today. Oh man, I can't wait till they report back. And then we had that campfire on the beach. We're just like hanging on every single one of Reed's words of like, well, what's going to happen? Are we going to get the game? And it was
like the Nintendo Power publishing staff were like,
I know,
yeah,
right?
It's in the back room.
It was just wild to see that on screen again and be like, man, I remember sitting there and how important that was to me. And now, like, one of the themes of the film is just like everyone growing up.
Now you're old and you have zero hope, and
I mean, kind of, but like we also understand now how these industry works, and I do think that's why there are so many people in the community who did go on to make games.
Yeah.
Because it was that feeling of, oh wait, if you want something, you need to do it yourself. And I do think that was a lesson that a lot of people learned, and they went and did it themselves with success, which is interesting.
The tagline for the fan translation was "Do it yourself devotion." Yeah.
I still remember that.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they were talking about like Reed and Clyde in the beginning, like we don't have any friends that are interested in what we're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And then they became friends, and then their friend group grew and included us.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, think about how. I mean, besides there's so many marriages that started through that community and stuff, which is just like insane when you think about. Us telling Reed that we had gotten engaged, he was just like a proud grandpa. He was like, "Well, look at that."
This movie has been in production for a decade, and I'm so glad it's out, and I'm so glad that it has changed paths along that way because it's become something really fantastic. But early on, I remember me and you sitting in a hotel at an early PAX, maybe like 2012 or 2013, and doing an interview with Jazzy about everything. And I remember one of the things that we talked about extensively was like all of the marriages.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, okay, well, you got Reed and Camille, but then you've got Clyde and Heidi. Oh, but then it was us. We were the thirds because we always thought it was so fun that we were third strongest marriage. And it's an EarthBound joke. And then I think we were up to like 8 or 9. Yeah.
I feel like we did a count once. I mean, granted, Steve, I felt like, you guys definitely went through Reb's website. We met because the website existed, but not through the
You can
website.
chase it back to it though.
Yeah.
It's
I think it counts.
It goes back to. It's
You can
very
trace, like Mel was
confusing.
saying, like we wouldn't know each other if not for the fact that Clyde and Reed became friends and made a website. So really, the marriage of all
of our souls.
is Tomato and Reed.
What a lovely couple.
That's the first one. But I think the count's like 14 or something we'd come up with.
It's very high.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks now.
We all just really got excited about this thing.
I guess that number's tapering off because the site is not super active or necessary anymore.
No,
I mean, I want people to be able to enjoy each other, but like social media has replaced
It's a
all
shame
of
that the website died, or is no longer a thing. But that's because
It wasn't needed anymore.
it's because all websites died, and that's kind of a shame too. But
Yeah.
but what can you
It's
do?
okay for things to end.
Things end.
I miss Web 1.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about just like cherishing that time. Like that is a time that lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't there for the early stuff. I joined a little late. I joined near the end of it. I joined around right before the PK Colin thing happened because I didn't play it till I was like 18. But
It was weird to pinpoint exactly where I knew this, like from my story started in.
Yeah,
That
and
happened
you're like,
to me
that's
too.
where it
Like
starts.
the first half of the film was very different for me, and then like 2008, 2009, when like the fan translation stuff started, and then like all of the archival footage and assets, I was like, oh, here's the part where I came in and saw all of this through the lens of my childhood.
Yeah.
It is true, like in the modern web, of the modern social media, like you wouldn't meet up with your 8 friends at your pig barn.
Yeah,
That doesn't happen anymore.
You wouldn't meet up with like the people that happen to upvote your Reddit comment.
No, I thought that too. Like this is the only time period in which that kind of like grassroots friendship.
It was forum culture.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, there's
It's not
a
a
Like
thing.
I think as the only, well, not
It's
the only
not the
person
same.
who wasn't
It's not the same. No.
ever part of the community, like seeing this and seeing like that narrative element that they introduced around all the footage, around all the interview footage, it's like, oh, I get this now. It's like, okay, this was all the stuff, this was all the energy, these were all the happenings around this in this extremely insular community, and we're seeing like maybe, you know, the 20,000 foot view, and it's like there's, you know, countless memories for everyone that made it into this movie, and it's like, oh, I may not have been there, but I appreciate this energy.
I legitimately want to show this to my parents.
That is exactly what I was thinking halfway through the film.
I feel like because like my parents have sort of roughly understood I mean, over the years they've understood a little more of it. But I think they think of it more as just like, you all were in a fan club together. But I do think that this gives a very good, as you said, like just overview of roughly what was happening, and
Yeah.
like
The
end.
vibe.
Yeah, the vibe, and the vibe was legitimately just quirky people who had some skills. Who,
And nothing better to do.
and had nothing better to do. Yeah, like like even when I was in college, you would just randomly had downtime, and that was a thing you could just do. And it's different now. And yeah, I legitimately want to show this to my parents though, because I think it'll help them put some things together.
There was anonymity, and there were happenings.
My parents asked me about Reed last month.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened to that guy who made that hoodie that you wear?
Yeah, no, I had to lie about where I met Mel.
To your parents?
Yeah, when we were like living together, I had to lie because my parents were like, were like, well, if you meet up with anybody on the internet, they're like going to come and kidnap you, right? And so I think I had some sort of extremely bizarre story where I was just like, oh, I met Mel actually like when I was doing speech competitions, because like
You never warned me of this.
Oh, you never told you this? Yeah, my like I eventually like told them the true story, but when I first started like when I like met up with you and like when you called me and stuff, the story I told my parents, because my parents would have freaked out, was just that, oh yeah, I knew her through, there's this website, but like also don't worry, I totally met her in person. It was like, whenever I went all around the state for the speech competitions, you would meet up with people from other schools. And yeah, and like, cause like that was the thing, is like that was just so foreign and bizarre at the time. Like, I was a grown adult at that point, but my parents still would have like flipped out.
I am gonna send this to my parents. I think they'll appreciate it, and I think it does do a good job of explaining what on earth I was doing my entire life. And there's also a bunch of like familiar faces, like John Kay came and stayed with us for a few days.
I felt that way watching it when someone would come up and I would know their name before it came up on screen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if all of you knew that. Like I know
Yeah.
we've
Some
met
of
them,
them,
but like not everyone has.
I stayed on John Kay's couch.
met John
I
Kay
slept on.
once.
I slept on
movie
his.
theater. I was wearing a shirt he designed. He's like, "Hey, I designed that shirt," and I was like, "Wait a minute."
That's a good John Kay story.
I slept on his couch. Yeah, because that was the thing is like my parents did finally figure it out. Like after they followed like the full story when we took that trip. So the first summer that I was
I
with
drove
you.
down to stay with you.
Yeah.
I went with her. This was pre-vlog, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
so we drove down together in your car with no air conditioning and no cruise control.
We stayed at your house in the apartment.
But you weren't there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we went, and then we took a deep.
I short sheeted your bed.
Yes, you did. I remember that.
Yeah, so I have photos of Chaz's apartment, and so Chaz was just this like cryptid, mysterious figure to me for a long time. And then we took a detour to drive all the way down to Atlanta
To stay with
go
John.
stay with John. And like your thing was like by this time when I was trying to explain this trip to my mom, I was like, well, Mel knows these people, and but like my at this point my parents were already on board. They were just like, oh, that's cool. So they're like from the website, and I'm like, yep, same website. So it was very fun. Yeah, we took a detour to Atlanta before going to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, that was a good trip. I have a whole photo album from it. So no vlog, but I have photos.
Yeah,
It's
that
mostly
was.
just us very hot and in a car.
I think that was just like months before the vlog started.
Yeah.
Because I think that was in 2009. Yeah, and the
and
vlog started in November, October.
Yeah,
something.
then I flew home, and that was my first time flying by myself. It was such an exciting time.
EarthBound USA is incredible to me, but I think that most people would enjoy it if they have even a passing interest in the game, and especially if they were tangentially connected to the community in any capacity. I think it's very interesting, and it's certainly well done. So, bravo to Jazzy and everyone that worked on this, because it's very, very good. And I'm glad it's finally out. That's the most exciting thing.
It's been out for a while.
It has been out for a while.
But I'm glad we finally watched.
Have you ever thought about the wonderful parallels between EarthBound 64 and EarthBound USA?
Actually, when the movie came out, Reed sent an email to a bunch of like old staffers, and I know because it's not a blind CC. So I was just looking at all of the names. Chaz was included in it too, and it was a good email, and it was basically like, hey, it's been a long time for some of you. Please go watch this movie. I think you'll like it. And then in the film, or in the email, it said, P.S. I want Steven to know that it wasn't my decision to take out the I Am Earthbound song. You have to blame Jazzy for that.
I do think that was a good choice, though, because just having like sound effects of you just standing out there.
I can't believe they added the sound effects.
It's more accurate to what was happening.
It just is. It's hilarious, but yeah, it was bizarre. And this is a Blu-ray, which has bonus features, so I'm going to look at those too and see what's on here, because they did a lot of shooting over the decade, like a ton, because like they interviewed who's Double Fine guy,
Tim Schafer.
They did like a whole thing with Tim Schafer, and like
interesting,
that was not in here at all. So
yeah, because I'm a Double Fine person.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's in there. Finished up the evening by recording some more code names, including one where I get to be the spy master, which is exciting because we rarely do that, and it's a good one. It's a good one. You have something to look forward to. In all seriousness, though, EarthBound USA was great. I really enjoyed it. I know, obviously, it's available on Blu-ray, but it's available on streaming. I know you can get it on Fangamer's website, and I think they are in the process of bringing it to, like, the other streaming services, or some of them. So I don't know where they are in that process, but I will put them up on screen whenever I edit this to let you know, so you can watch it on some other services too, hopefully. But if you watch it, I would love to know your thoughts down below. I will be looking at them, very curious how you feel. It was just really cool, man. It was really cool. It was also really cool to see what footage made it into the final cut. There's quite a few things that I shot in there. Like, I'm in the film a few times, but then also there's just some stuff that I shot. There's some stuff I recognized. There's a part where I'm saying goodbye to everyone. That was in Gatlinburg, and we had just had breakfast at a pancake house, and me and Mal were getting started on the drive from Tennessee back home, and we pulled out of the parking lot, and I held the camera out the window, and I said, "Bye, Internet," and that was in there. And there's another part, I think I had been following Toby around, and I had the camera like in his face, and that was in there too. So it was fun. It was just fun to see all that stuff. And again, really coherent. Really, really coherent. So I'll try and get my parents to see it. And if I do and they get a chance to watch it, I'll let you know what they thought. Thanks for watching. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?